Remember Sha'Carri Richardson, the fastest starter in women's sprinting, the one everyone watches the second she steps on a track? Well, on Saturday in Shanghai, she didn't win. She didn't even come close. She finished fourth, and the woman who beat her made it look almost easy. That woman was Shericka Jackson of Jamaica. And if you've been paying attention to track over the last couple of years, you know this story is bigger than just one race. Let's go back a little bit. Shericka Jackson used to be at the very top of the sport. In 2022 and 2023, she won the world title in the 200 meters 2 years in a row. Not many people can say that. And in 2023, she ran so fast that it became the second fastest 200 meters ever run by a woman in history. Think about that for a second. In the entire history of the sport, only one woman has ever run faster. Jackson is, quite simply, the fastest woman alive over 200 meters. But then, things went wrong. In 2024, Jackson got hurt. She had a small tear in her Achilles tendon. That's the strong cord at the back of your ankle that helps you push off when you run. For a sprinter, that's a serious problem. The injury was bad enough that she had to miss the Paris Olympics completely. Imagine being one of the best in the world and having to watch the biggest event of the year from the sidelines. That's what happened to her. So Jackson started her comeback. Last season, she returned to racing, and she even won a bronze medal in the 200 meters at the World Championships in Tokyo. That's a strong result for someone coming back from injury. But here's the thing. In that Tokyo final, she finished behind two other runners, Amy Hunt and Melissa Jefferson Wooden. So even though bronze is good, it told everyone that Jackson wasn't quite back to her old self yet. She was close, but not all the way there. That's why this race in Shanghai matters so much. On Saturday, May 16th, the Diamond League season opened in Shanghai. The Diamond League is basically the top series of track meets in the world. The best of the best show up. And this 200-meter race was packed with talent. We're talking about a field full of athletes who have won medals at the highest level. One of them was Sha'Carri Richardson of the United States, a former world champion in the 100 meters. Another was Shaunae Miller-Uibo of the Bahamas, who has won the Olympic 400 meters title not once, but twice. And there was Amy Hunt too, one of the runners who actually beat Jackson back in Tokyo. This was not an easy race. This was a real test. And here's another detail that makes it interesting. This was Shericka Jackson's first 200-meter race of the whole season, her very first one. Usually, when an athlete runs their first race of the year, they're a little rusty. They're still finding their rhythm, so nobody really knew what to expect from her. Then the gun went off. The 200 meters starts on a curve, and coming off that curve, Jackson looked calm and in control. Right behind her were Miller-Uibo and Richardson, staying close. For a moment, it looked like it could be a real fight to the line. But it wasn't. As the finish line got closer, Jackson found another gear. She pushed harder and pulled away. Miller-Uibo chased her the whole way, following right behind her, like a shadow, but she could not catch her. Jackson crossed the line first in 22.07 seconds. She never looked back. She never looked worried. She just won. Behind her, Miller-Uibo took second place in 22.26 seconds. Then came a Navia Battle of the United States in third with 22.4. And then, in fourth place, Sha'Carri Richardson, who ran 22.42. Amy Hunt finished fifth in 22.48. So let's be clear about what happened here. Sha'Carri Richardson, a world champion, one of the most famous sprinters on the planet, got beaten by 3 different women in this race. And the gap between her and Jackson wasn't tiny. It was over 0.3 of a second, which in sprinting is actually a pretty big margin. Now here's why Jackson should be really happy with that 22.07. It was her fastest season opener, meaning her fastest first race of the year since way back in 2023. And 2023, remember, was the year she won her second world title. So this isn't just a good time. It's a sign that the old Jackson, the dominant Jackson, might be coming back. Jackson herself talked about it after the race, and you could hear the relief and the excitement in her words. Speaking to the Diamond League website, she said, "It sets me up well for the rest of the season. It is a good feeling. It was my fastest opener since 2022 or 2023. She added, So to be able to run this quickly in 2026, I'm happy. That last part is important. She didn't expect to be running this fast this early. For an athlete who has been fighting her way back from a serious injury, running a time this quick in her very first race of the year is a huge boost of confidence. It tells her that all the recovery work, all the patience, is paying off. And she's not slowing down to celebrate. Jackson also said, "I will be back competing in Xiamen next week." So she's already looking ahead to her next race, ready to keep building on this. It's worth pointing out just how far she's come. Jackson's personal best in the 200 meters is 21.41 seconds, which she ran 3 years ago. That number is what makes her so special. It's one of the fastest times ever. She's not at that level right now, and nobody expects her to be in her first race of the season. But 22.07 inches, her opener says she's heading in the right direction. The talent is still there. The speed is still there. It just needs to be sharpened. There's also a nice side story in this race, and that's Shaunae Miller-Uibo finishing second. Miller-Uibo is mostly known for the 400 meters. She's a 2-time Olympic champion in that event. But this race in Shanghai was actually her first Diamond League appearance in 3 years. Her last one was in Zurich. So for her to come back and run 22.26 for second place against a field this strong is a really encouraging sign for her too. But make no mistake, this day belonged to Shericka Jackson. She didn't just win. She beat a lineup full of global medalists. She did it in her first race of the year, and she did it without ever looking like she was in any danger. As the reports described it, she was the picture of poise on the curve and completely in control down the home straight. For 2 years, the big question around Shericka Jackson has been the same. Can she get back to where she was? Can the injury, the missed Olympics, the comeback struggles all be put behind her? We don't have the full answer yet. One race in May doesn't decide a whole season. But what we saw in Shanghai was the clearest sign yet that the answer might be yes. Jackson has fired the first shot of her 2026 season, and she did it by putting one of the biggest names in the sport firmly in her rearview mirror. Look at the runners Jackson left behind, because their times tell a story too. Anavia Battle in third, Sha'Carri Richardson in fourth, and Amy Hunt in fifth, all finished within just a few hundredths of a second of each other. They were practically packed together, all fighting for the same spot. And then there was Jackson, way out in front, all on her own. When the winner is that far ahead of a tight group of world-class sprinters, it isn't luck. And the timing of all this could not be better for Jackson. The 2026 season is just getting started, which means every other top sprinter is also trying to find their form, test their bodies, and figure out where they stand.